Peace and love to everybody. This video is going to chronicle my experiences with Transport Canada, my investigation, conviction, and penalization for violating drone laws of Canada. So, a couple of times yesterday I tried to do this. I would start telling the story, but I'd forget something. There's so much information, I'd forget, so at the end I would put it on the video and edit it in, but there was just so much herky-jerky, and it was just terrible, So as boring as it is, I think the best way to get through this is for me literally just to read from the pages, show the papers, and get it all out. That way, I don't forget anything. You get all the information you need. Boring but effective. So, no action in this video, guys. No droning, no motorcycles, no 4x4, just me yakking. Alright, so a little background. Let's see. I guess the first drone I ever got was off of Craigslist. It was a Phantom Vision 2, I believe. And I started wheeling and dealing and trading up, getting a better model. Eventually I ended up with a Phantom 3 Standard 4K. It has a 5-kilometer range. So at this time I had actually worked my way up to enough where I could buy my very first store-bought drone, and that would have been in August of 2017. I went to Staples and I bought a Mavic Pro. So when I bought this drone, there was nothing there to tell me that there was laws for this toy that I've been playing with. The box had nothing inside, outside, no warnings of any kind, no anything. The salesman never mentioned a thing about laws or Transport Canada or anything. In fact, he's giving me all the stats, like the drone I have now goes 5 kilometers. Well, this Mavic, it goes 8 kilometers. Wow. It's got a chip in it that it won't let you fly in front of any kind of air flight path. It's got obstacle avoidance, so you can't even hit anything. And I'm going, okay, awesome. Never told me, oh yeah, okay, this drone, it goes 8 kilometers, but in Canada you're only allowed to go 500 meters with it. Nothing. So that's the way it went. Alright, so let's get to it. Alright. So, bought my Mavic, I jumped on my bike, and I started droning British Columbia. Even though there were no rules, so I thought, I was always respectful of people around me. If somebody felt uncomfortable about the drone, I'd bring it down. If somebody complained, I'd bring it down. I just didn't want to offend anybody. Let's see, where am I? Right. In fact, a lot of people, once they found out I was posting the videos on YouTube, they would ask to be videoed and put on the channel. The whole entire time I had all my drones, 2 times people were offended or had asked me to bring it down, and I did immediately, no problem. Alright, so a few months into posting on YouTube, I heard some rumblings about rules on drones by the government. Okay, so it was never Transport Canada, it was always the government or the police. So I phoned the RCMP station, my local station here in Maple Ridge, and I asked them, hey, I've got this drone, I hear something, is there laws or something? They didn't know. They passed me around from person to person till finally this has got to be the person that knows, and he tells me there are absolutely no laws on the books regarding drones. He said, as a matter of fact, we will only respond to a call for a drone if it's inside the fence line of an airport, or if it's being used to spy on a bedroom window or something like that, dropping drugs in a prison or something like that. Alright, so as far as I know, everything's good, everything's legal, just talk to the police. In fact, I was so confident that there was no laws. I'm doing videos with me, my face and everything, in front of my car with the license plate, my motorcycle with the license plate, and even a video right here outside my house one winter where I actually do a pan and I get the address of my house. So obviously I'm not trying to hide anything. I don't know there's laws. Right. So I do a lot of annual charity events, and I drone them. Different organizations ask me to do this for them, and I accept no payment, thank God, or else every fine that I was looking at would be $5,000 instead of $3,000. So one day this charity calls me up, and this girl says, listen, Transport Canada was just here and they're looking for you about your drone videos. And I'm going, oh yeah, okay, well, you know, what's that all about? So I didn't think much of it. I mean, after all, Transport Canada is in charge of airplanes and airports, and I don't have a pilot's license, and I know I've never flown my drone near an airport or an aircraft of any kind. When I was out flying, I always had somebody with me that I called a spotter. Even though there, again, that I didn't know there were any rules, I was very aware that, you know, not to be in front of aircraft or anything like that. So I always brought somebody with me that's always watching the skies and stuff. If we even heard an aircraft and couldn't even see it, meaning it's miles and miles away, I'd bring it in. So I know there's no way I was ever near an airport or an aircraft. So what the hell? I took the number from her and I called Transport Canada. So here's another thing that I should mention. The videos that I've been posting on YouTube was under a YouTube name. In other words, not my real name. So the Transport Canada people, they were actually looking for somebody who didn't even exist. So obviously, they never would have found me. So again, I didn't even know I was doing anything wrong, and so I called him. Hey, how's it going? My name is this, but you're looking for me under this name. I heard you wanted to talk about my videos. Alright, so the person that answered the phone told me he was an enforcement investigator for Transport Canada, and he was investigating me for violations of the drone laws of Canada. What? What are you talking about? Laws? What laws? Drone laws? Holy moly. So I asked him, hey man, laws, do I need to talk to a lawyer? And he goes, no, we just want to talk to you, just want to have a friendly chat. Okay, so now, I know never ever to give a statement to the police, even if you've done nothing wrong. That's just the way it is. Everybody should know this by now. You just don't make a statement. So why did I give a statement to this guy? Alright, here's my reasons. Number one, he's not a cop, right? It's just Transport Canada, and I don't have a pilot's license that can be affected, and I truly don't believe that I was doing anything wrong. You know? Here's another thing. I record all my phone conversations, and I already had him on this conversation where I said, hey, do I need to talk to a lawyer? No, we're just having a friendly chat. So I knew that in my mind. And what else do we have? Oh yeah, I was curious, you know. Like I said, I heard a few rumblings here and there about laws or something, and the government, and so when I heard from him that there was actually some laws, I was curious, you know, like, okay, like, well, let's find out what this is all about. So I said, sure, and we actually went on to YouTube together and went through my videos. He would inform me on this, he would ask some questions, and he'd say, oh, you can't go that high, oh, and you can't go that far because of this, and oh, here you can't do that because of blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I thought he was informing me. I thought he was educating me. We were having a conversation. The whole thing was polite. He was really nice, and at the end, it was like we were friends. All right, man, thanks for the conversation. Have a good day. Yeah. So about a week or so later, I received registered mail from Transport Canada under my real name, and inside this letter. All right, another thing I'm going to tell you right now. At the end of this video, I will post all these letters and documents in picture form, so you can actually pause it, look at them, and read them at will. For now, I'll just zip through them, alright? So this letter I get from this guy. I'm investigating possible violations of section blah 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 of the Canadian Aviation Regulations, blah 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 blah. Basically, he's telling me he's investigating me for my drone videos that we talked about a week ago. Listed on here, from here all the way down here, and then onto the other page, all the way down to here, are a list of the violations for the videos that I'd committed. He also tells me in the letter that he's investigating videos from March 14th, 2017 until present, and this came on March 14th, 2018. So at that time, there was a total of 107 videos that were within that space. So I phoned the investigator up again, And he informs me that I'm facing a $3,000 fine for each and every single violation on that page for each and every video. So in other words, for one single video, there's up to $3,000 fine for flying too far, flying too high, losing line of sight, and a lot of my videos were flying too close to people, flying too close to vehicles, flying too close to this and that and this and that. So on the average, I had 4 violations per video, which is 107 videos. So this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at $3,000 for 107 videos, an estimate of $1.5 million. I'm like, what? So the investigator tells me that I have to pay up to $3,000 for each violation committed on each video, and I've already admitted everything to him. The last phone conversation I had with him, where I thought we were buddies and he's just informing me, educating me. Yeah. All right. So I told him, hey man, I asked you if I needed a lawyer, and you said no. His response to that was, I do not recall that happening. Thank God I had the phone call recorded, eh? All right. So he told me his investigation is going to take a month to a month and a half. All right. So 10 months later, on January 17th, 2019, I get this in the mail. And what this is a notice of assessment of monetary penalty with a $750 fine for one violation for one video, and it's for going more than 500 meters from my location. It was on my Superman video. Also included with these documents was how to pay it, methods to pay it, where to pay it, blah, 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 blah. So, wow, think I was pissed before? Boy, I am mad now. So I phoned him up to tell him, hey man, I didn't get a notification for a court appearance date. I didn't get a chance to defend myself or anything. Whereupon he informs me there is no court, and my chance to defend myself was in March of 2018 during our very first phone conversation when we were buddies and he was talking to me. He informed me that I can be investigated, charged, and convicted on his and his boss's say-so. That was it. I was pissed, and there's no way I'm going to pay. Besides, when I do the math, I can't pay. Even if it's only $750 per offense, on an average of 4 offenses for 107 videos, I'm still looking at over $300,000, and some of my videos have more than 4 offenses. He told me each and every violation can still go up to $3,000, even though this one he only did $750. So even at $3,000, I mean, look at that, $1,280,000. Wow, man. I'm on disability. I'm going to come up with that. $5,000 if I was getting paid for my videos. It means I'm commercial. Each charge would have been $5,000. Over $2 million bucks. All right. So I decided to take him to court. Actually, part of me wanted to take him to court anyway, because back then I didn't think that Transport Canada had the authority or the power to tell me what to do with what I thought back then was basically a toy. I was also really pissed off about the part where I asked the investigator if I should talk to a lawyer, and he out and out said no, and he would have none of the information that he had if it wasn't for that. So I knew I had that on my phone recorded. Like I said, I record all my calls, so I also had a whole whack of calls recorded from Transport Canada, from around Canada itself. So basically, when this all started happening 10 months before, I had a lot of questions, and so I would take it upon myself to phone Transport Canada and ask a question. So sometimes you would phone and I'd get passed around and passed around and passed around, and I'd get to an answering machine finally. Oh, this is the person for sure that knows what you're asking. and they'd transfer me, and it would go to a voice machine or voicemail, and it was full, so I couldn't leave a message, and it went over and over, and I recorded all those. Also, I had a bunch of questions, like I said, so when I did get a hold of them, I would get different answers from different people. So I'd phone Transport Canada in Vancouver and ask a question, get an answer. Phone Toronto, give them the exact same question, get a different answer. And then phone whatever, Alberta, Quebec, Montreal, and get sometimes the same but different answers. So back then, the bottom line was, Transport Canada themselves didn't have a clue what was going on, didn't have a clue what the actual laws were. How should I have to know them if they don't themselves? And of course I had all this recorded on my phone. So like I say, part of me wanted to go to court anyways at that time. I also I talked to a group that was looking for people to go to court against Transport Canada with their videos, because this group believed that Transport Canada didn't have the constitutional right to regulate and charge me or other people for a drone. So they were looking for that. So I was going to hook up with them too. Like I said, I called a lawyer, and I met up with this lawyer and I talked to him, and basically he told me I need an aviation lawyer. What the lawyer did tell me was, don't talk to Transport Canada. He said, don't talk to the investigator. His job as an investigator is to investigate, so don't do his job for him. Give him all the information, make him investigate. So I set out to talk to an aviation lawyer. Wow. Try to find an aviation lawyer in Vancouver. It took me a considerable amount of time to find an aviation lawyer. When I finally got a hold of one, he wanted $5,000 immediately just to talk to me. And he told me that $5,000 would go real quick if we actually ended up going to court. So, you know, I can't afford that. That's out the window. In the meantime, let's go back to this fine here. The $750 fine that I received without being able to go to court or defend myself in any way at all. There's a couple of appeal processes on here. And the first one is an informal meeting. So you have 30 days to schedule and hold an informal meeting between yourself, myself, the investigator, the regional manager of the aviation enforcement, and whoever else invited to the meeting. You can request an informal meeting where I can plead why I believe the infraction should be not upheld or dismissed or reduced or whatever. Plead my case. So you get to do that, and then if you don't like the outcome of that meeting, the next step is you can schedule a meeting for a review by the Transportation Appeal Tribunal of Canada of the minister's decision. So in other words, I make myself an appointment in Victoria, BC for this one single charge to appeal it. So I have to go to Victoria, BC, where I have to pay for all my gas to get to a ferry, pay for the ferry, go there, ferry back, gas back, whole entire day. Okay, so the problem with that, I'm only allowed to do it one charge at a time. So in other words, if I was actually levied, let's see, 107 times 4, we'll say 428 charges. So if I had 428 charges, I would have to schedule 428 individual appeals in Victoria, BC. So yeah, that's not going to happen either. So while I'm waiting for my meeting with the group that wants to take Transport Canada to court, and I'm still searching for my own personal lawyer, my informal meeting came up. I had started the appeal process and scheduled the informal meeting. So on February 4th, 2019, the meeting comes up. We're all on the conference call. We're all on the phone. They tell me why we're there, the charges. They say their thing. Then they give me my opportunity to plead why I shouldn't have to have these charges or have them reduced or whatever case I want to plead. So I go through all my complaints, all my grievances. I tell them I'm on disability. I can't afford a fine. Hell, I can't pay $750 fine, let alone $320,000 or more. That's just ridiculous. I tell them I'm pissed off about, asking for a lawyer and the response I get. I've got all the phone calls to Transport Canada, all the confusion, all the full voicemails, this and that. I'm showing them this, I'm blah, 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 blah. And then I end the entire thing, I end the whole thing with something along the lines of, and if you give me a fine, as soon as this meeting's over, I'll go right out and I'll declare bankruptcy and you'll never get a penny anyway. So, they put me on hold and had a little conference among themselves. And when he came back on the line, he says to me, the regional manager, by the way, says, okay, for this one infraction, we'll drop the fine from $750 to $250, and you can pay that $25 a month for 10 months. On top of that, they made a deal with me that right up till that moment of that meeting, any drone video I'd taken before that, they will not and cannot lay any charges of any kind for any of them. And remember, at this time, I'm facing 107 videos, 4 infractions each. That's, 428 minimum. So $250 free. Yeah, I took it. I took the deal. So I took the deal, and they mailed me a contract with all the points of our deal, and we all had to sign it. And then shortly after that, I received another one of these puppies for $250 for the infraction and the payment schedule, and that was it. I made my payments. I paid $25 for 10 months. They sent me a receipt every month. At the end of it, they sent me a final statement and a conclusion letter. And then that was it. It was over. Sort of. So every now and then I get a call from my from the same investigator from Transport Canada. I now call him my investigator, asking questions mainly about what drone I'm using for this video. And I think he already knows the answer because I've said in the video, shooting this with a Mavic Mini, or I've put it in the description. And yeah, I think he knows. I think he's just letting me know he's still watching, still paying attention. And yeah, that's it. That's my experience with Transport Canada. And hope you never have to go through the same thing. Oh yeah, the group that I was going to have a meeting with that wanted to take Transport Canada to court, they were no longer interested in me because I made a deal with Transport Canada. So we never ended up meeting at all. That was the end of it. So I'm going to take some still photos of all the documents, post those at the end of this, and I think that's it, man. So, wow, what a boring video, eh? My boringest one. Peace and love. Join me for my next video. I guarantee you it'll be more exciting than this one. Alright, goodbye everybody. See you later.